Hello YouTube, it's me Wildman, and I just want to do a quick little update on how I've been doing for the Zero to Mirror. So this will be update number 2. I have hit kind of where I want to be. I've only got 118 raw div here, but I've got another 16 that should be coming in, and either these go through and I run more maps or I get back my chaos. So between everything I've got, I've still got some delirium orbs. I've got around 170 divines. I think that's plenty to bring this Herald of Thunder build to kind of the peak. My plan is to get like a Mage Blood, roll some Mage Blood flasks, probably get Replica Heat Shiver, a Corrupted Implicit Storm Secret with all res, and then a Calandra's Touch, and then Grand Spectrum jewels, 3 elemental damage ones, and a bunch of cluster jewels. That's going to be a lot of it is more clusters. I'm probably going to end up doing a build guide. I've never done one of those before. I'm not much of a build maker, but I was trying to find resources on, like, obviously I used Paintmaster PoE's guides for the 1 divine and the 30 divine budgets, but I could basically find nothing out there for like a high budget Herald of Thunder build. There were some old ones that are clearly dated, so those didn't work. I was like, oh, there's no way these items are the best. Like, you know, you put stuff in POB and it's like, my damage goes down by 30%. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna follow that. But I've looked around at just mostly some POB builds and looked at some items and figured out how I want to do it. That's what I have to say about the build. So let's talk about what I farmed to get to where I'm at. I went through a couple different progressions of this farm, where I started on tier 8 Tropical Island, then I went to tier 16 Tropical Island, and then I've got this new strat I'm doing on Strand. Well, it's not new, but it's a different way of running it. So let me just show you how I was doing these. Okay, so those are rolled now. Put all these bad boys in. Tropical Island T8 is what I was doing for more than half of these maps. Okay, so I would have all favored Tropical Island because we have singular focus, and you'll see how we self-sustain. I'm going to do a farming strategy guide on this later. I was going to do it before, but it was taking me too long, and I was like, I kind of want to get the update out and, you know, be able to upgrade my build since I have the money to be able to do it. This is how I made my money. When I was doing the tier 8s, I would do pretty much the whole map. And so this is still the 30 divine budget, which does this pretty well. And, you know, if I don't see big packs, I just run past them. We're just trying to go fast. But you see, once I start getting to this, like, 5 and 6 level, it starts getting rough. And that's because Herald of Thunder does no AoE damage. It's purely single target. But we get explosions. But the problem is, we can't decide who it targets, and there's so many units in these maps that, like, it doesn't kill them because it's hitting too many different ones. And yeah, so actually it didn't end up being the best build for this farm, but we still, you know, 1 minute 20 pretty fast maps, and we self-sustain our maps too. So that's how much stuff I'm leaving behind. I didn't loot essences, I didn't loot fossils, a lot of shitty cluster jewels. Technically there's value there, but just because I did it the way I was doing, it was a lot faster. If you loot all that stuff, it'll take a lot longer, but it's not necessarily a bad way to do it. I just prefer to do faster maps and just get the valuable loot. I would use the incubators too. So that's how I did it tier 8. And then tier 16 was kind of the same, except not really. And you'll see why. Okay, we got those. Well, I mean, I could just say it's because the build's not really strong enough to do these properly on T16. You know, we'll get to 3. And the problem is on T8s, we don't get shit for gold. So it's like, feels kind of bad doing it on T8 for like selling things. Like, I didn't really make gold at all doing this strat because I spend so much like selling and I don't get enough farming. This map's actually going better than some of them did. We can go to the end already actually, but I found a lot of the T16 ones I struggled to. It gets a little spicy. Sometimes things don't die. But yeah, we can go to the end. No. Oh my god. Oh, I got the portal down. Let's fucking go. And see, you know, sometimes that happens. And sometimes the boss like 2-shots you, and that's just how, you know, to make you remember how strong you are. When I was like doing this, I would not do that. I would just end it and go. But you see rewards on T6. Oh, okay. We would have gotten. I didn't put my watchstones in. So when we do T16s, we also have potential for T17 drops, 16.5s. And obviously the maps that dropped here would have been usable. But I forgot. But that's how I ran the T16s, which usually they went worse than that, and sometimes I wouldn't be able to get to 7 rewards. Or I'd get killed halfway through and not get a portal down. It was better profit, but it felt worse, and I didn't really like that. And because of that, I was like, hold on a second. What if I ran them like this? And, I mean, it doesn't have to be Strand, but, oh, also I should... And these ones, okay, it's at 16 seconds, so we'll subtract 16 after.
A swift end.
And my goal with these, okay, this one's pretty shit, but. And now we end it and leave. And that's how I started running them. Because I was like, oh, so many of these I'm like just dying and not getting to 7 rewards anyway. Well, gee, if I only go to 5, I could actually do it way faster if I'm doing that intentionally. So minus the 16 seconds we waited at the start, it's like 34 seconds. It's 3 times as fast, right? Potentially even faster. Like, we got a kind of shitty start to that one. And yes, we get less, but we go so fast that I think it's worth it. That kind of wraps up everything I had to say, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and start upgrading the build. I'll put the POB for this one in the description. So if you want to gander through my gear, you're welcome to. Honestly, we did get our awakened gems leveled up, but I think for like 90% of the time they were still level 4 because I was farming T8s. So I wasn't getting anything for XP. We did not level up at all because even once I started doing the T16s, they were rough enough. I was dying. So yeah, T8s and live or T16s and die. Either way, no XP at all, which is not good for leveling up gems or characters. But we made a lot of money, so I'm still pretty happy with how it went. I probably wouldn't do this strategy with this build in the future. Just something with AoE damage, because especially I could have done it faster if I could just attack the boss at the end. But like I get to the end and there's all these other delirium monsters around and I can't just kill the boss and end it. It's so frustrating not being able to choose what I attack. And so I kind of try to position so like the boss is the only thing in the radius, but there's only so much I can do to try to be only hitting the boss. I don't have that much control, which on other types of content is fine. But for this, it was just a little bit annoying. If I had more damage, that'd also probably make it fine. But just where my build is currently at, it was not very well suited for this strategy. But even so, we made at least 20 divines an hour. It was still very, very good. And that's the thing. I think this farming strategy slept on. That's why I'm going to do a video for it. Even doing it suboptimally made tons of money. Let's see deaths and time played. I mean, it's a little hard to do time played just because I play at work, so there's a lot of AFK time. I don't even remember what we were at, but this is a lot more time than what I realistically played, but I didn't do as good a job of keeping track this time. I lost count of how many maps I ran, and it was probably in the realm of like 200, 250, but they're such fast maps that like it's really not much time. I think for most of the time I was hitting like 1 minute 30 maps since I was doing the T8s for most of it. That would only be like 3.5 hours to run 150 maps. That's pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna upgrade and then I'll probably do this strategy a little bit more until I finish the strategy guide for it. And then I'm going to switch over to probably back to harvest. And this time do like crop rotation, awaken, harvest. I want to have a decent amount of divines still for buying materials and things. It's probably a good thing I'll be doing this a little bit more because I want to be able to buy my build stuff and still have like, honestly, 30 to 40 divines of wiggle room would be really nice just for buying scarabs and stuff. Like, I definitely made a mistake on the first benchmark, not saving room for mapping materials. I had a bit left over, but this was a strategy where I really wished I had like 15 divines, honestly, before I started it, because doing it like one map at a time and liquidating it was not good. It's a very like currency exchange heavy strategy where like you want to wait for the good deals. You don't want to take what's immediately available. Because, I mean, for instance, if I wanted to sell these, it's 5 for a divine. If I wanted to buy them, it's 4 for a divine. That's a big fucking difference. I do not want to be losing out on like a fifth of a divine every time I sell. That's no good. But if I'm like just starting and have no money and need to be buying these costs, like when I started they were about 15 C. Now I can get them for about 9. But so when I started I'm paying like 60 chaos a map. I have to sell immediately just to afford to run more. It was really annoying. But if I had like 15 divines in the bank, I would have been able to buy a whole bunch of maps, just run them, and then like not have to care about selling things so urgently and getting like worse deals than I could have been getting. But anyway, I think I've talked enough. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you think I did something wrong or I'm fucking up hard, let me know. Yeah, I had fun. This part of the build was good, but just not great at what I was farming. It would have been good for other stuff, I think. It's better for single target than I thought it was. I thought it was like a more AoE clearing build. It's a good mapper, but I think it really does better on single target. So something like Essences would have made more sense. Trying a new build, sometimes you just learn, and it was still fun. I had a good time. So look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.